Hello, Hot Wheels fans. If you watch my channel, I like to do a lot of 3D printed wheel projects, and I thought, why don't I do one for this? Because I've had this toy since it came out. I've always, every now and then would go into Toys R Us when that was around, and just see what kind of toys are out there. So back in 2004, I guess, I went into a Toys R Us and I bought this thing because this is a cool concept car that Suzuki made. This is called the GSX R-4, as it says right there. And what it is a little two-seater, and it's powered by the Hayabusa 1.3 liter engine. The Hayabusa at the time was the fastest production motorcycle, and so this thing's pretty neat, very lightweight, very Spartan. It was never meant to be a production car, which is a shame. I think maybe it was before its time. When you think about like the Slingshot, the Aerial Atom, and all these other impractical, no-roof vehicles, this would fall right in line with it. Wikipedia is telling me that this thing made 173 horsepower, which doesn't sound like much until you realize it's only put into a vehicle that weighs 640 kilograms, or 1,400, a little over 1,400 pounds. So this thing could actually go 181 miles per hour, which seems pretty fast for something with no real windscreen. So you probably have to wear a motorcycle helmet to drive around this thing safely. Alright, well, again, it's an old toy. Let's take a look, though. The thing has four holes, kind of like Alfa Romeo wheels, actually. So this is as good as they could get with the 5 holes. So it's a bit gappy as well. But actually, the real concept car seems to be gappy here as well. This is a maroon. I'm just debating, is it metallic? I guess it's metallic. I feel some shininess, see some shininess in there. The chrome plastic piece is actually starting to wick off now. That's the problem with these chrome plastics. The chrome doesn't last forever, right? I mean, I haven't played with this. It just sits around for 2 decades, and that's what happens. So I guess that's probably why a lot of people always want to have a metal base. But, yeah. Oh well. Alright, so yeah, it's a little bit scratched up and stuff. I never took care of this thing. This thing was cheap when it was new, and it's probably cheap right now, so it will never increase in value. It's just, do you like concept cars in Suzuki? This is cool. This is actually clear, like the real concept. And then these are shocks up here and back here. There's the Hayabusa engine, and then the chromed out seats, because the whole thing is, continuous chrome plastic there. And then the exhausts are nice. I mean, they're part of the diecast, but they actually have a recess, like a real exhaust pipe. And then the tab for the plastic base is the license plate. And then they got all the molded like tail lights and stuff like that, and some holes for venting. So I think it's actually a pretty good model, or I don't know if you call it a model, but a pretty cool interpretation of the real vehicle, especially again for the cost of a mainline. You even have a bunch of molded details there. So, yeah, I almost forgot again the scale. So the internet tells me this thing has a wheelbase of 2450 millimeters. So let's see. I can't really see a good point to measure here, so I guess I'm going to have to try the axle to axle width. The center of this axle, and hopefully the axles aren't bent. But we'll get a rough estimate. So 42.44. Yeah, it doesn't even matter. It's 158 scale, so it's quite large. So this is a small vehicle in real life. Being powered by a motorcycle engine makes sense. It had a 6-speed transmission, Wikipedia is also telling me, and for the time it actually had GPS navigation, which is pretty upscale for the early 2000s. Okay, so back again. Give me a moment. Alright, so there we are with the 4 round circle wheels that come on the concept car. The tires, the wheel, and the brakes, they're all separate pieces, so it's easier to paint. But the problem with this casting is the axles were totally crooked in the wrong location, so I had to drill out both holes. But then the thing is just even worse, So I ended up puttying them in place. It's reusing the stock axles, but I puttied them so the fender gap will be a little bit better. Okay, so then I added a little black paint here, and then that vent up front as well, black paint, and then all these little rectangles, some silver, And then also in the back, mostly silver up here, and then 2 red ones, and then silver on the exhaust tips. And then I painted the seats black, although this, this plastic is so slick that if you just touch it, it just comes off. But I can always paint it again, I guess. I'm never going to get rid of this one. I really like this vehicle. Alright, let's take a look at some other models. So we'll start with some 164s. This is a 3D printed one I got off Shapeways. It's the LCC Rocket, designed by Gordon Murray of McLaren F1 fame. It's a single seater, and Jay Leno has a video on this as well because he has one. Then also, I think one of the original Deathmobiles would be the Lotus 7 or the Caterham 7 these days. I've seen this in person. The seats are so low to the ground. An SUV would just drive right over you in an accident. So, track use only. That's what I would recommend. Driving down public roads would be a death wish. All right, so getting to some Hot Wheels here. We have the Triumph. What is this? A TR6 or 7? This is a TR6. Yeah, some 3D printed wheels on this guy. Some mini lights. I really like this vehicle. I like how Hot Wheels got rid of the windshield and made it a little club racer. And then a really modern speedster is this Aston Martin. And I think it's just called a V12 Speedster. Yeah. And yeah, 3D printed the wheels and brakes on this one as well. So I like this one. A lot of people don't like it, but I think it looks cool. Sadly, not the best quality from a mainline as you can expect for the price. So it took several decades for me to finally get around to this, but I do love it. I really think that would be a cool car to own and drive, to take to the track. I probably wouldn't want to drive that on public roads, but on a racetrack it'd be fun just because there's no windshield. It's kind of like a safe motorcycle. So being a concept, it deserves to go on the spin coaster, at least until the solar power can't handle that extra weight. So I think this one turned out alright. I oversized the wheels quite a bit, but you can actually see it's quite gappy, the real car. As far as the tires go, the rear one's even gappier than that. Not sure why they did that, being a concept car. Okay, well, thanks for watching today, and I'll see you the next time we do a 3D printed project.